How's it going, guys? Day three. So this is my second upper body day, and we kick things off with the close grip incline bench press, 5 kilo personal best from last week, 85 kilos for a set of 15. Had my good friend there, making sure that I one survive, but also number two count my repetitions because it got to a point where like once I got past like 8 reps, I was just a bit like, okay, let me just get as close to 15 as possible and then use my friend as a guidance to take me closer to the end. Because honestly, I would have probably either felt short or probably done one more. And as you can see there, he was very clear in how many reps I had left because I had my music in and, my mind was somewhere else. So I'm glad to see these 15 reps. Relatively, I say easy. I was able to kind of fit in a pause rep at the end there, excuse me. But nonetheless, I'm glad that I'm getting out of the way, especially where incline press for me has been one of those exercises where I've been struggling and now I'm finally kind of getting into the groove and improving steadily each week as well, which is great. Then we move on to the seated barbell shoulder press. Again, another 5 kilos heavier than last week. And I've really been paying attention into slowly progressing each week as much as I can and still trying to keep some in the tank to then progress further. And sometimes with a linear progression, it's like you want to keep going up. That's always the plan. However, you want to also make sure that you see the long term goal first and you work backwards. And that's one thing that's helped me. And that's something I actually saw from a powerlifting coach by the name of Chad Wesley Smith, where he will write his goals and what he wants to achieve with his clients or whatever it may be, and then he works backwards. I've always liked that concept because it just keeps you so much more focused of where you're going to. And a lot of times when we train, we're always focusing on the end goal, which is great, and that obviously should be the purpose. And it gives you more of an incentive to train, right? Because you have a goal. However, to just think about moving forward to get to that destination, you'll be very blindsided to the things that can happen along the way. And mentally as well, if you feel like you're not progressing as much as you should be to get to that goal, that can be just as much of a deterrent than working not as hard to that goal, if that makes sense. So I've been really thinking about, okay, cool, like in the next 4 weeks, now that my deload's over, the next 4 weeks, by week 4, I want to lift XYZ because that's going to be a little bit more heavier than my first month of training prior to my deload. So it's always just having a goal, but then it's just also breaking down that goal into small little battles that you also want to attain. Oh, sorry, rather, you also want to overcome in order to then win the war, per se. So it's just been a forever journey of just learning and being better as a lifter because at the end of the day, going to the gym, now that I have this habit, now that I've been competing now for 10 years, it's ingrained in me that I have to go to the gym and I have to work out. However, I don't want to get lost in that. I still want to find ways that I can invigorate myself and still keep myself accountable and keep that fire going. Because at the end of the day, like, going to the gym for X amount of years, guys, you have to understand that motivation is the last of your worries. And when you first get those goals that you've always been working towards, the next part is overcoming that. And that's just as hard as to when you were first working towards your goals. So I feel like by taking measures like I just mentioned before, it will keep your sessions more invigorating and it will keep that fire in your belly to keep going. Because this is something that I want to do for years to come. So yeah, I've been enjoying that journey for sure, and I really relish it. There you have it. Day 3. Like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned to day 4. Thanks for watching.